Welcome to the Dynamic Coaching Tools podcast. My name is Doug Brotherton. I'm the founder of Dynamic Coaching Tools and will be your host. This is our first episode, and we're going to spend today just kind of talking about our mission with Dynamic Coaching Tools, the purpose of this podcast, what you can expect to hear from us, and some of the services that we're going to offer as we continue to develop and try to grow the game. Our mission at Dynamic Coaching Tools is to provide resources, content, events, and services to help empower coaches to thrive in today's competitive coaching landscape. I'm extremely passionate about giving back to coaches and helping coaches because I've had some wonderful mentors that have helped me and continue to help me as I'm along this coaching journey. And so our mission, as I said, is really just offering a lot of different ways to help make sure that coaches are ready to be successful when they get their opportunity. And so some of the ways that we're going to do that, we have a website which is launched. It's dynamiccoachingtools.com. We have a blog on that website, which will hopefully give you a lot of different ideas, get you thinking a little bit, probably some tools that you can use with your own program and to help yourself develop. We are on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram. Our handle for both of those is at Dynamic Coaches. And then we also have a YouTube page that you coaches will find useful. Some of the topics and things on this podcast that you can expect are things like player development, analytics, talking offense, talking defense, program building, player evaluation, self-evaluation. We're going to have a lot of different guests. We're going to have college coaches. We have NBA personnel scouts. We have some NBA advanced scouts. We'll have high school coaches, player development specialists. We're going to have a lot of different people on here. I'm really excited about our list of guests for this first year, and I'm going to try to get a lot of episodes loaded up, and hopefully it'll be something that everybody enjoys. And then as we go through that, you'll hopefully come up with some questions, things like, what are the core values of your program? A great exercise, for something like that I got from the boys basketball coach at our school was a pretty fun exercise. Take the time real quick. You have to come up with, in 25 words or less, your core values and philosophy as a coach for your program. I thought it was a really interesting activity. He brought up the point that, you really only have about 7 seconds of people's attention, which means that most of you have probably already tuned out and moved on to one of those other podcasts. But if you're still with us, take your time and try to figure out that exercise and what that might look like for your program and what that might mean. I went ahead and did it with our program. What I came up with was, it's about developing relationships and an uncommon effort. Our process is more important than results. We don't develop goals. We focus on developing winning habits. And that was the 25 words that I felt described my coaching philosophy, our core values, and our program goals. So try that, see what you think. Things like how you organize your practice plans. I saw a great thing on Twitter today about practice planning, just talking about, when you have your practice plan in place, do you take the time to figure out how much time you're putting towards each different area? Or do you just kind of plan out the things you feel like working on? For example, if you say we're a great defensive team that really wants to get out and transition and run, does your practice plan reflect that? Are your drills transition based, up tempo? Are you getting after it defensively? So does your practice plan align to the identity that you want for your basketball team? What are the measurables that you use to test the success of your program? I think a lot of coaches, unfortunately, are still living by that big, bright scoreboard. You play bad, you play poorly, win a game by 1, and you feel okay, and your team plays their tails off and does some really, really good things and plays a team where you're a little bit overmatched and you fall short, and we feel like the world's coming to an end. And what are the measurables? Do your players know what those measurables are? Do they understand what the keys are to success for you and your team? How do you develop your staff? It's a big one for, I think, everybody at the high school level, but at the college level as well. We're going to get some coaches on and talk to them, some head coaches, about what they do to develop their staff and try to make sure that there's a consistent messaging across the board. And right in line with that, why is messaging the most underrated aspect of coaching? I think nowadays, the way that the kids learn and the way that they interact, you've got to be able to do a great job with your messaging to your players. What's important? Why are we doing things? Kids want to know why, and they deserve to know why. Because I said so is a really lazy way to coach your kids. So those are just some examples of some of the things we'll jump into in the podcast. This will be hopefully the only episode where you're stuck listening to just me. I know Really excited about episode 2, which will feature a really, really good friend of mine, Coach Ethan Leisure, who's an assistant coach at Davenport, which is a Division II school in Michigan. And he'll do a great job talking about some offensive stuff with us, and quite a few really, really terrific guests lined up for this first year. If you have any other guests, someone you'd like to hear from, maybe some specific questions, stuff like that, please reach out to us on social media, or you can email us info@dynamiccoachingtools.com, and I'll reach out and try to see if we can't secure some of those coaches and give you some resources and some things you can use. So other than that, I mean, really with this podcast, it's just going to be about helping make sure that you're getting takeaways. You have some takeaways. I've been tweeting it out, talking about it, and putting it out there. But probably my favorite thing that I heard over the summer, or one of my favorites at least, was when Kevin Eastman spoke at Jay Billis basketball camp to the coaching development program. And he talked about there being 2 types of people. There's know-it-alls and there's learn-it-alls. My challenge to everybody listening to this is to continue to be a learn-it-all. The fact that you're taking the time to listen in here tells me you must be a learn-it-all. You don't think you know everything. It's my belief that the moment as a coach that you feel like you have all the answers, you need to get out of coaching. There's always something to learn. That was the best part about that coaching development program this summer was, I was able to speak at it a little bit for Fast Model Sports, and it was really neat to have an opportunity to see people that were as successful as some of the coaches that were in attendance, and they were sitting there with notebooks scribbling down notes while every single person was talking. And so it was a really neat experience, and hopefully our podcast and our blog and our social media will offer you the ability to learn the same way, and we all can join together and be a group of learn-it-alls. As we wrap things up today, I just want to thank you for taking the time to listen to me ramble on. I hope there were a few takeaways for you and that you have a better idea of what to expect from Dynamic Coaching Tools. This concludes episode 1 of our Dynamic Coaching Tools podcast. Now go check out our website, social media, YouTube page, and let's get to work as we all try to grow the game.